Okay, so after the last match I just encountered, I have to get this straightened out. And it's the concept of what placement each god is. I'm going to more focus on guardians because that is where people tend to screw up the most. Contrary to what people believe guardians are, being really decent defense outright and health outright, guardians are actually not frontline gods. They aren't. The only gods who are frontline are Ares, Cabrakan, and Hades. Why? Because every other guardian has a crap ton of CC that actually saves allies. They are better suited near the allies. Frontline gods can actually go into a fight and actually do a decent amount of damage and get out alive. Midliners, which is what the rest of the guardians are, aren't meant to do that. If you catch an Athena out of position, you've killed her. If she has no backup, you will kill her if she is not building cooldown. People like Bacchus. He is power and mana hungry. He meets his allies. Sobek is one of the only few midliners who actually can play frontline because he has a self-heal. It isn't recommended because Sobek's pull into your allies is really powerful and really quick. Emir, Sylvanas, and Geb and Kumba. All of them are best suited right next to your allies. They should not really ever venture off. They should be sticking right next to squishies. And yes, in all fairness, mechanical-wise, everyone except the Mir is mechanically some of the harder guardians. It's mostly because their position is not what you expect. I learned this firsthand with Sylvanas, back when he could damage minions with his whiz. I got eaten alive so many times, I eventually developed a build specifically to counteract that. But besides the point. Those four should never be frontline. Goomba Karna is about the only one who can get away with it because he has CC up the ass. Other than that, Sylvanas, Emir, and Geb should always stand next to an ally. Geb? Start with Geb. Roll out slows. Shockwave knots up. Stone Shield saves an ally 98% of the time. And Cataclysm stuns everyone in a large range area. Anyone attacking a squishy next to a Geb should fail miserably. Because shield into either Cataclysm or Shockwave. Yeah. That's Geb. Sylvanas. Verdant Growth is a root that hits anyone in the circle. Your Wisp will heal. You have another stun and a pull with Nature's Grass. And Wrath of Terra is a knockup. Now, a lot more people can kill when Sylvanas is around, But if you're playing against a good Sylvanas who knows that weakness, it is actually very hard to get near the allies. And after I'm done going through the gods, I will show you what I mean the difference between the back, mid, and front line. And Ymir. He's the toss-up. He can actually play... He's better at midline, but he can semi-ish play front. He has the damage. Ice Wall separates if he's good at placing a wall. Glacier Strike slows. Frost Breath will freeze. And Shards of Ice does slow, and on top of that deal a very large amount of damage. Okay. Now, gods that are considered frontline. As I said before, they're gods that can go in, win a fight on their own. They can win 1v1, they can survive 3v1 with relative ease. Ares, his entire kit specifically around to win a fight. Shackles into bolster defense, into searing flesh. Anyone starts running, no escape. Or, like most Ares will do, they will actually blink ahead of their allies, use no escape, and then throw chains on all the free chains he gets on the now stunned opponents. Bacchus. Straightforward. He is a damage dealer. You build and power Bacchus, he's frontline. That's all he does. He can semi-midline because of belly flop and belch. Belch of the gods. Other than that, he really doesn't do much else in saving allies. More like buying them time. Hades. I don't care what Hyra says, he is a mage. He is a tanky mage. With a self-heal, a fear slash silence slash fear, and an almost inescapable ult. You really don't, and all of these abilities do said shit ton of damage. Okay, gods that are frontline. I will show you the class. It's the warriors. That's all they do, is they frontline. Now, granted, people like Ravana is a backline. Ravana's kit in and itself is more suited to an assassin. Bellona's frontline. Chalk is frontline. Guan Yu is midline. Why? Self-heal. And a stun. A heal and a stun. He actually will save allies more than kill enemies. Hercules. He can be played any of the three. Actually, one of the only gods who can play any of the three. He has enough in his kit to survive frontline. He has the self-heal which will survive frontline. His knock-up and driving strike to deal with midline. And he does have his ult to deal with backline. Odin. He is frontline. All he does is damage. That's all he does. His slow is almost worth nothing. Osiris. Him by nature is an assassin. So, depending on how you build him will decide where you place him. If you go for a more power-oriented build, he is backline. If you do build him tankish, then he is midline. If you build him bruiser, that's where he goes frontline. Bruisers are probably the best build for Osiris. Some Wukong. I don't care what people say. Damage, bruiserous, or tankish, he is frontline. That's all he's ever going to be. Tier. He is midline. That's all he will ever be. He blinks behind them, pulls them into his allies. Midline. Vamana. Depending on who you're facing will depend on where he's going. If you can build to his passive, he is frontline all day, every day. If you build him more... If you're facing neutral, then he's going to be midline. He's going to try to... He has stuff in his kit to save his allies, and on top of that, he can actually just kill. Okay. Gods that are backline. Basically, every single assassin ever is a backline god. They are meant to go around behind enemies, surprise them, and take their life before they can react. Only one assassin is a frontline god, and that is Thor. All because of his passive. Warrior Madness. 4 gains physical power for each enemy god within 30 units of him. Stats up to 45 extra power. Only one. Boombots is mid. Fenrir is mid. Bastet can do anything but frontline. Loki by nature is backline. Kali is actually probably the only one who can frontline, but that's if she's fighting her target. Mercury's back. Naja's back. Nemesis is midline. Thanatos is wherever the hell he wishes. Thanos is dependent on skill level. Serket, backline. Ratatoskr. It doesn't matter because he's going to jump from frontline to backline in under a second. Arachne, straight backline. Awilix, definitely backline. Bakasura, backline. And as I said, I will go into detail of what those stand for. Okay, every other god in game is better suited to midline fighting. Hunters don't want to be too far away from the action, but they also don't want to be the first ones in line. Mages, definitely want to keep them mid to backline. Only Kronos and Freya, the two basic attack based gods, are the only two who can frontline, and that's just because their kit allows it, and you have to be good with them. Anyone watching this, do not take my advice literally when I say these two are frontlines. If you do not know how to play them, stay as far back as possible. I promise you, you will live. And I think anyone ever seen Opwash ever knows he's backlined as can be. Okay. Now, that covers the gods themselves. So, I'm going to hop into Jungle Practice and show you what I mean by the distances. They're actually quite simple.
Ratatoskr.
I'll use the rat to demonstrate because he's faster.
Lord of creation, maker of all living things,
Minions
and
have spawned.
destroyer of the winds of fate. If it's nature's way.
Okay. I know this won't help much, but why not? I've never seen what full cooldown looks on him anyway. Okay. Let's start with frontline. This is frontlining.
With first blood, we begin the story.
This will be midline. Basically, any distance that within 2 seconds you can be up into the fight. Okay, backline. This is where long-range ults come in. Why? Because you stay out of the way and they are very high damage dealing. On top of that, like I said, Ratatasker. Well, Ratatasker was the bad example because I can just do this.
You have slain an enemy. You really cooked that biscuit.
There, hang on. Okay, so wait the time. Okay, so now he's in front line, midline, back line. Simple. I'll show you in lane now. Okay, entrances to the jungle. This is mid. This is front. There's actually quite a bit of distance in between each one. Easiest way I can show on this is just follow the trees. Yeah, one tree to the next. Basically, if you want a good frame of reference, just pull up Ratatasker's dash, and that's about the distance between each one. Now, for full representation, I'd say each of these is roughly a book. That's why I say start from the jungle. Beginning of the jungle. There's one, and you can kind of see where the other one's going to go. There we are. Okay. Now, in the last match, I'm not blaming my Geb. I'm not. Players that haven't devoted the time to study Smite haven't picked up exactly the distances yet between frontlining and midlining. She is a heavy Geb player. Which is nice. It's nice to have a Guardian play. She just plays the Guardian that doesn't lend itself nicely to combat. Geb has always been meant to disrupt, not engage. The only reason Gebs can really engage is if you have good teammates backing you up. Like, if a Geb... here, I'll just pull Geb. let's just rock the full tank build, shall we?
Summer.
Let's rock full tank.
I love the feeling of sand between my toes. With sand, my toes are sand.
Minions have spawned.
Let's just end the end game as well. Just rock full tank. Okay.
Some lotion for my rough skin.
Okay. All items. Let's just start putting on health. Reinforced shoes and majority of mail. Now, I'm pretty tanky. Now let's also buy Link, since every CC Guardian needs that. Okay. Actually, minions are better to test this out on. Because kind of show what I mean. Okay. So blink in, press T because I'm an idiot. Hold, shockwave. Oh darn! An enemy got through. Try this again at being midline. Okay. And whatnot. Playing on touchpad. See? That is why Geb is a midline. Because if worse comes to shove, this thing has enough to reach to the background line or the front line. If you're in front line and say back there is the back line, you're not reaching it. And Geb's shield is probably the most saving grace that... Excuse me, I get around real quick. This is why...
We begin the story.
Yes, Geb in and himself can frontline. He can tank my unit. Problem is he can't save allies when he's frontline. And that was the main purpose of Geb. Was to save allies.
That biscuit.
Okay, let's pull the back line down. Loki, prime example of the back lines.
I bring the start of a new Ragnarok.
Okay.
Have spawned.
So, let's begin. How do you do a backline character? Quite simple. Never engage in combat. Backliners, your job is to stay behind and basically just kill whenever you get the option. If an option doesn't show itself, there are a few gods that can make it show itself. Like a Wheelix, being able to pull people away from their allies.
First blood, we begin the story.
That is all you do. Assassins are notorious for this. Kill an enemy, run. Come back in.
Night!
Come, fight me!
And that is all. That is it.
Fight me!
And that is all backliners do. A magical backline. Mostly these just come down to points. But a prime example of a backish, midline-ish god is Raw. At least of the magic ones.
I'm Raw! Hoppa! Raw!
I got one. Let's show it off.
The sun
So.
has risen once again!
With Raw. I think everyone by now has figured out where Raw kind of
Minions have spawned.
places natural. Let's build triple.
A hot item!
Where are we? Okay. This is what makes Raw's backlining a thing.
And with first blood, we begin the story.
Now, of course, Raw can actually be played anywhere, but that's
Unstoppable!
Raw is better suited for midline. That is where he belongs. Not saying that I have to It's just that's not where he's meant.
The heat bears down upon you. Too close to the sun, get burned!
Come, fight me!
Okay. Now let's move on to frontliners. Which are the warriors. Essentially. Okay. Who dares awaken me? You actually. Yeah, no, hold on. Yeah. Bologna's a weird one. And Ravana is the backline.
Ill omens to be fulfilled.
Yeah. Warriors by nature are the jack. Used to be the jack of all trades and still kind of
Minions
are.
have spawned.
They do damage. They can tank. Like here. You'll see me picking up
What need have I for this?
not a like usual build you'll see me build Bologna. But in essence, it's the exact same thing you would see. For the exact reason... Okay, this is why Bologna is...
To the abyss.
With first blood, we begin the story.
You really cooked that biscuit.
Okay, hang on. Warriors will be be best shown against Fire Giant. Because he hits the hardest. So. If I can talk about the abilities, I probably done something. So, let's go to the Gold Fury. Because Fire Giant can actually take out anyone relatively quickly if they didn't build straight. So I'm just going to stand here and let the Gold Fury do its thing. Now as you see, I am hurting because if you saw the difference between Fire Giant and Gold Fury, besides just power levels, they can do like here, you'll see me actually out doing my this hand's damage. Again, let's go back to Robin. Turn over. Ugh.
Sounds like someone's been cooking up a killing spree.
So, yeah, this is literally all you can do. I'll show you how many cycles of abilities I can go through before.
That's a triple.
And with Bologna specifically, you have to go a lot because
Come fight me!
okay.
Come fight
From half
me!
health, let's see how much he does.
Bathe the glow.
So I'm just gonna sit here and let him wail on me. There we go. Ult, heal.
You really cooked that biscuit. Bathe the glow.
They're looking pretty unkillable.
Never retreat.
You really cooked that biscuit. Bathe the glow.
Just like my beard.
Yeah. Warriors can go through quite a lot before actually dying. That's why warriors are the frontline gods. They are meant to be at the beginning of the battle. They are meant to do a lot of damage. They aren't meant to save. And there's the key word between frontline gods and midline gods. Though guardians have more health and defense than warriors, a lot of the guardians were designed to save allies, not fight enemies. So, I hope this video helps. I really do. And to Michelle, otherwise known as Karma Chaos, I'm not blaming you for that last match. I'm not. you've always had a problem with where to position yourself. So I made this video for everyone. This is how you position in Smite.
Yeah.
Okay? This is hunch. This is high attack. I'm not. Off for this tutorial.